Hello champions, welcome to the session, the evening session. So evenings are the time, actually the specific time where champions like you are actually engaged in going through your studies or going through the virtual platform where you have the access to all the services that we are providing here in BPS. So, in today's session, we are going to discuss a few PYQ questions from your psychology domain. So, this is really a great initiative from our part. I am not going to appreciate whatever we are doing or whatever services we are giving. But I will definitely mention that this initiative of discussing the PYQ, searching the PYQ, that is previous year questions, is very important because these questions are actually going to help us in order to prepare us for the exam. But prior to starting the session, I just want to add one more information, is that this CUET, that is 2023 to the CUET undergraduate exam, is going to be the second term. This is the second time that CUET is going to be conducted by NTA. But prior to that, previous year, that means last year, whatever question we had, the question pattern was in the simplest form, and because it was the initial stage, or because it was the maiden effort by NTA to make the exam come into reality. But because this is the second time, students or champions may have the delusion that the question paper will be as simple as to the previous year. But mind here, the questions are carrying 5 marks, and 5 marks is not going to be an easy job to carry, because these 5 marks is going to assess your understanding, your perception, and the level of your perception of your domain subject, because this exam is actually assessing you and preparing you for the future work that you will have to undergo, that you have to prepare, or that you have to do in the 4-year semester exam. That means there will be 8 semesters. So 8 semesters, 4 years, in order to get the name, the nomenclature of being a graduate of the subject is really tough. And in order to prepare you for the long journey of these 4 years, this CUET undergraduate exam is going to be a bit harder from the previous one. So, I am telling you, this is a peak time for your preparation, the actual preparation for your exam, and I need all the champions who are under BPS and who are not under BPS. You have not enrolled or registered under BPS, do register. Ensure that you avail all the services that we are providing here, because this is going to help you in the future run. So, with this piece of advice, we are going to start the PYQ of psychology. That means the previous year question paper. So, here we have a set of questions. So, question number 1. Psychology question number 1. According to Sigmund Freud, which element of personality does not care for moral values, society, or other individuals? So, here what it is, we have the options: superego, ego, id, and libido. Now, what we can have the assumption that superego is something, ego is the basis. So, ego is the practical essence where we need to have some kind of moral values. Next, we have superego. Superego means the attainment of perfection. Next, we have the third level, that is id. Id is the level where we go for our desires, our carnal desires or our specific desires, where we have the idea, where we crave for some kind of desires, or it may be some kind of a desire for anything, some kind of a desire for, we can say, human instincts. Okay. Next we have libido. Now libido is the merging point where there is less specific reality into the moral essence. So here we know that there is, to some extent, though it is very uncertain to identify where we have the moral values, but speaking up about ego, superego and id, these three have the moral values intact, but in libido we don't have. So we will go with the option where there is absence of moral values, society and other individuals, that is libido. Yes, hope this is clear. Next we have question number 2, match the following. So here we have a set of people, that is Cattell, Maslow, Bandura and Rogers. Now self-efficacy. Now what is self-efficacy? Self-efficacy is the concept where you can control or regulate your activities into the proper manner where you can have some kind of betterment or perfection in your life. And this concept was given by none other than Bandura. So this is a specific name. Bandura gave the concept of self-efficacy. So we have here Bandura. Where it is? Yes. Then we have the concept of real self. So real self is actually related with Rogers. Yes. So let us find the options: self-efficacy with Bandura and self-actualization with Maslow. So we have Rogers and Maslow's concept of self-actualization of the concept of self and personality. With that we can understand that real self is about Rogers and self-actualization is with Maslow. Left is Cattell and Cattell is self-report measures. So options are A4. So this is the correct option, A4, B, no, so A, sorry. So A, it will be A3, A3, B4, yes, C1, yes, and D, it is 2. So this is the correct option. So hope this is clear. Self-efficacy, Bandura, self-actualization, Maslow. So these are the important terms which you should know in case of psychology. Then we have street smartness is a part of dash. Multiple intelligence, contextual intelligence, experiential intelligence and componential intelligence. Now see, when we have these 4 forms of intelligence, multiple intelligence, street smartness is something related with our experiences. So instantly when we work, we speak or we react with experiential smartness or intelligence. Apart from that, what we have the concept of multiple intelligence, where we have a lot of caliber with different fields. So at the same time we can deal with specific fields or different fields, that is multiple intelligence. Then we have contextual. Contextual means which is very much objective, related to a specific object. Next we have the componential intelligence is something which is related with our logical understanding, relation with our quantitative understanding with our mathematical calculations. So that is componential. So we get the other 3 terms, and along with that we also can find the experiential, that means which are related with our experiences, that is street smartness. So then we have question number 4. The important ideas proposed by Rogers, So again here we have the idea of Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow are. So what they gave the concept of self. And according to them, the concept of self can be understood from the understanding that a person will always strive for some kind of perfection in accordance with their potential. So, whenever a person has some kind of potential, some kind of caliber, he or she will always strive to improve that kind of potential, the innate caliber or abilities that he has. So, improving the process, the gradual process of improving that caliber or ability is actually the self, where there is always the concept of betterment for one's criteria. So, we have the idea of self by self-actualization and the understanding of self-actualization by projecting or improving our potential. And that concept was given by Rogers and Maslow. So, what is the idea of this self? So, we will go with the options and we have to find out the correct answer. Number A, people have a tendency to maximize self-concept through self-actualization. Yes, it's okay. Then we have, there is a collective unconscious consisting of the archetypes. So, we have the concept of unconscious. So, unconscious is there, but collective unconscious consisting of archetypes, that is a concept with our Sigmund Freud, that means the psychoanalysis. Next we have number C, behavior is a goal directed and worthwhile. People try to express capabilities, potentials, talents to the fullest possible. Yes, this is also going with the concept of Maslow and Rogers. Then we have number D, an atmosphere of unconditional positive regard must be created in order to ensure enhancement of one's self-concept. Again there is enhancement, so this is okay. Number E, human beings display a wide range of variations in psychological attributes and it is possible. Yes, there may be or there is actually a wide range of variations in psychological attributes. That means we have a lot of differences or attributes or features or characteristics which may be different in according to the situations. So that it is there, but it is not going with the law or the proposed model of the self. So we have the options A, C, D. Is it there? A, C, D. Yes, this is the correct option is 4. So this is something with our psychoanalysis. And the human wide range of variations is with our attributes. So this is the concept of the attributes. So hope this is clear. Next we have this. The clinical psychologist assessed perception B's personality using a test based on less structured stimuli. So here we are getting the idea of less structured stimuli. That means the structure which the psychoanalyst or the psychotherapist have made is not fixed, or it is not formulated prior to that. So there is no fixed analysis or there is no fixed model. So that is unstructured. And the stimuli, the external stimuli are always the external stimuli. So the external stimuli is unstructured. So be very specific with the words, and while you are going through the question, you are reading the question. At the same time, parallelly try to understand the words and be very specific with structured, unstructured, because the only prefix of un can make a total change, a leap to the question, to the answer, to the options that you opt. So you may be thinking it as structured, but the question is unstructured. So silly mistakes can be avoided if you are preparing the exam and you are revising and you are making mistakes at home. So mistakes makes man perfect, and when you are making mistakes at home, that mistake will not be repeated in the exam because you have revised it properly and you have made your preparation in the valid legal way. So that counts a lot for your preparation for your exam, because these kind of words, silly mistakes, even I have made. I still make this kind of mistakes while reading the question paper. So being humans, we have the tendency to make mistakes, and that may be a silly mistake. And in order to avoid this kind of regret after the exam, do practice a lot. I'm telling you, do practice a lot, because practice makes man perfect, okay? So here we are getting the unstructured stimuli, which is the external stimuli. The test helped to assess his unconscious motives and feelings. So again we are getting another core word, that is unconscious motives and feelings. So which is back of our brain. So something which is based on our unconscious feelings. Identify the test used by the psychologist, and this is none other but the projective method or projective technique. Yes, it is there. Yes, the option is there. So the projective technique is there where we have the unstructured stimuli. So something which is unstructured is projective method, because there is nothing very specific within this method or within this technique, and we apply a lot of things and a lot of the techniques are actually not very proper, or it may not be very viable with the situation, but the psychotherapist may conduct this kind of test in order to assess the unconscious. So in relation with the unconscious, we may apply some kind of unstructured thing, because the unconscious is something which is very much vague and which has no real basis, or we can also say something which is not very real. It is virtual, and in order to understand something which is virtual, it is very important that we have some kind of unstructured stimuli or unstructured techniques, and that techniques is termed as the projective techniques. But going with the other options, can we go through the techniques like self-report measure? Self-report measure is a kind of a technique where the psychotherapist is testing a person, and there is a kind of a situation where the person, the patient himself, is trying to assess his activities or his do's and don'ts. So what he should do and what he should not do, or what he should have done, or what he had done it before. So that kind of a thing can be avoided in this present situation, and that is a kind of a self-report. Next we have the behavioral analysis. That means what kind of behavior you react, what kind of voluntary actions and what kind of behavior you have in a situation while facing and interacting with someone. Next we have the psychometric test. Psychometric test is something related with calculations. So whenever we get the term metric, that means that kind of a solution, there will be a question and you have to solve it with help of some quants. That means quantitative test. So these are the techniques, and with this we come to the end of today's session, because we have discussed very important points, and this is the important PYQ, and we will be discussing this kind of PYQ in the future classes, and hope you all join me in the future classes. Thank you for being with us, and keep preparing for the exam. And if you are liking this kind of sessions, a lot of students have already enrolled under BPS, and I want you and I want champions who have not enrolled till now. Ensure the possibility and ensure that you are joining BPS to avail all the facilities that we are providing here in BPS. And if you are liking, try to share BPS, join BPS, and avail all the facilities that we are providing. Thank you for being with us throughout the session.